Hello out there. Okay. So I don't know how long I'm gonna be on. Maybe I'm avoiding some work. But I'm at my house right now and it's been long since I keep postponing things with renovating my kitchen. Um, one of the things was my brother. Last summer, I will say this, last summer I worked on my bathroom. And I was planning on this spring and summer working on my kitchen. And this was long before my brother came. And but he's come here and to Atlanta. And now I had to postpone it. I mean, life happens, right? And he's getting better. Unfortunately, I'll say, or maybe fortunately, that I know now. So he drank some coffee yesterday and he ended up being up pretty much all night. And I gave him his medication this morning before I came back over here. And I'm hoping that he will get some naps or some sleep or something. And the thing is, with his cognitive ability, I don't think he realizes that drinking coffee will keep him up all night when really he needs to be asleep. So I don't know how I'm going to handle that. But up until this point, except for maybe one other day, uh, last week, he has been doing well with his sleeping and getting a lot of rest. And that's the weird thing when it comes to mental illness. It's like, oh, once they get 1 or 2 days of sleep, then they're like, oh, I'm fine. I can stay up all night. It's like, no, you're not. But, you know, um, and those of us who are caregivers, we realize that, there's only so much we can do. So I made sure he got his medicine this morning. He was kind of spinning out. I could see the caffeine still in him. Um, and like I said, yeah, that's all I could do is just make sure he got his medicine this morning. So he got it. And I'll go back over there this afternoon. So, you know, making sure he gets his evening, afternoon medication and his some kind of protein dinner. So you saw me yesterday uh, post about the food I made for him and how it is important to eat well and sleep well for your mental health. Um, I am going to be traveling for probably an extended amount of time in a few weeks or so, and he is okay. So when he came, I'm his only family in this city. And I know a lot of people will say, well, what about your parents and what about your other family? It's not that they don't care. It's that, first of all, I'm the only one, and I hate to say this, I'm the only one that doesn't have my own family. I live by myself, and I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. Love it. Um, and I'm also the one that will is willing to do what it takes to get what he needs. And I don't think a lot of people are like that either. So unfortunately, um, I think we live in a society that people kind of just tell folks, "Oh, just stand here, stand right here." Meanwhile, you gotta. I told a coworker, "You've got to be ruthless out here to get what your family needs." You know, you really have to do what you gotta do. Now, I'm not saying break the law or anything like that, but you really gotta be like on it, make sure that your family gets what they need. And my family are they're definitely law abiders and they're just like, oh, whatever. And I'm still trying to get over that with my mom, where she had the ability and the authority to help my brother 5 years ago and then, she made, I don't want to say she made choices, but she did make choices, but in her mind, she just believed in the system, you know? Like in her mind, she believed in the system. And I was like, oh, I told her, it's like, you got to call these people every day. You've got to call them. You got to tell them this is what, because they will put him in a thing and things happen. So anyway, I don't want to get too dandered up about that. But anyway, so I'm the one that is willing to do what it needs to be done to get the care that he needs. And a lot of black people aren't like that. And that's unfortunate because we're used to getting nothing. And that's something else I wanted to talk about. Like, we're used to just not getting basic care that I have a lot of white friends and a lot of people who are Asian and things like that, where they get what they are owed and they speak up on it. It's like a lot of black people, we tend not to because we're used to getting nothing. And so we get nothing. Okay? And we tend to keep it to ourselves. We tend to say, oh, God willing, oh, those kind of way. Get what you need. Okay? And be unapologetic for it because it is what you need. But anyway, so I'm the probably one of the only ones that would be willing to do that. So that's why he's here. He asked me in his crisis time. Um, I was trying to get him to our family, and things just happened to where I was like, you know what, you might as well, because what's going to happen is I'll have to travel yet again to there and do all this. So I might as well just have him here. And it's closer to me. It's better resources because here in the city, I live in Atlanta, better resources, better all the things. Okay, bigger city, better. So there's that. So he is doing a lot better. I will say that. So after he was in the hospital in April, um, he came here. He got out of the okay. He was in Alabama. He had a crisis, a situation. He got put in the hospital once he was found because he was missing in October. He got released out of the hospital in October. I got him over here to Georgia at late October and got an apartment in November through my own resources. Okay. I tried all the other things like the government, tried like waiting lists, things like that. So there's that too. So if you don't have resources, I understand. A lot of people kind of just, out of panic and desperation, you don't know what else to do. And like I said, I'm blessed. I'm lucky that I had the resources to be able to help my brother in the crisis. But now, so, getting a lot of these things together, November, December, January. By January, I had a feeling like he needs more, but we're at a point where we're kind of okay, but I can't, there's only so much things I can do legally, right? Up until he started calling 911 himself in late February. And just random things like, oh, my leg hurts. Oh, a dog bit me, which a dog never bit him. And then he finally, between him and me, we decided to just go ahead and be hospitalized in April. And he was in there for about almost 3 weeks, I think. He came back out, new diagnosis, new prescriptions. Things have been doing pretty well now. Okay, he's getting on a route. I want to say a routine, but every time I try to get him on a routine, he bucks the routine. And that's a part of his illness too. But it seems like he is kind of sticking to being available for breakfast and being available for dinner because he likes to eat. So with that, I'm trying to find a care team that will be able to help him during medicine time because that's the one thing right now he still doesn't know how to do or remember to do medicine for himself. And that's the medicine that's getting him where he is so far. And that's my biggest concern. It's like if he stops taking it, then he will regress. Okay. All right. So the care team search. I found one company, which I don't know how I feel. They're close, but because of, I don't know how new it is to that location. I know it's a franchise, but I'm gonna have faith in them. I'll just say that. Because the one manager who came, she was nice and all, but you could tell that she was just new at everything at life. And I'm just hoping that whoever she brings in to help with my brother while I'm gone knows what they're doing and is professional. Okay, so that will be the morning time in the morning. Like they have to be there at 6 a.m. because he is an early riser if he goes to sleep at all. Okay. Now, second part, I thought about it. I was like, he really needs to make sure he gets some sleep. So that means I still need somebody in the afternoon. I put out an ad on Facebook in a small group that I've been a member of for years now. So it wasn't like it was just this big random group or whatever. But I put in the call and I told them what I wanted. And this leads to like this should be its own, starting from this moment on, should be its own video about boundaries and how some people, because they don't do their own boundaries, they expect other people to just bend over backwards on their boundaries too. So I was very specific on what I needed from somebody that would help my brother. First, I said, because I live in Atlanta and I know this town pretty okay, that you got to be living in the either in the same neighborhood or the neighboring neighborhoods to be able to get to locations consistently. So I did not want anybody who lived across town. I did not want anybody who lives in a different town, unless it's a nearby town, which is like a main street away. And even though I mentioned that my brother was mentally disabled, I did say physically he's okay. And I got at least one person responding saying, "Hey, I'm disabled and I live in blah, blah, blah," which is across town in a different town, at least 20 miles away. And then they proceeded to keep saying things like, "Me and my partner can come down and blah, blah, blah and help out." It's like, you know what? I'm sorry, but no, because that's not what I asked for. It has to be in the same neighborhood or neighboring neighborhoods. And my brother, and this is, I guess, what I probably should have said, it's like he's physically fit. Like if something happens, you're not going to be able to stop him or help him or do whatever because you're disabled. No, no offense, but that's not what I asked for. Then I had somebody else also said, "Oh, I'm willing to help. I live in the neighborhood." Okay, good. Bing. But then this person also said, "If I can bring my toddler." No, I'm sorry, no. Because I can kind of get the feeling of what really is your energy behind this. Like I hope, and I didn't offer that much money, I don't think. You know? I offered just enough for people to make it worth their while. But I don't think I offered that much. And I feel like at least those two were like just there for the money or wanting the money. And I'm also add they were white females, women. And I'm also concerned on that end because my brother, he's 20 years like in the past. He has no idea about all the things that had happened with race and things like of this nature in the past 20 years. Seriously. So he doesn't know, um and he never really knew, if I have to be honest, about how unfortunately Atlanta is a cool town. I'm gonna just be honest. Like we know how to act in the city limits. Okay, I'll just say that some of us white women's they know how to act in the city limits if you live here long enough. But the thing is, I don't want my brother to be put in a situation because of his illness to be criminalized. I'm gonna just put it out there. I do not want my brother to be in a situation where I'm trying to get him help and somebody's offering to help, but then something happens and then next thing you know, he tried it. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Because there's also some things I'm going to have to tell this person who will come and help my brother, some things that are not, And of course, I'm not going to tell y'all, but it's going to be some things that are really, really hard. Even though physically they don't have to bathe them, they don't have to clothe them, they don't have to do any of that, but they might see some things that will be unsavory. Okay? And that's just the nature of his illness too. And I'm just trying to protect him. I'm going to be looking at, there are at least two candidates so far. I did reach out to one person, but they haven't gotten back to me, and that's also something concerning. But then I'm going to reach out to the other person too, who my idea is somebody who is our age, which we're middle aged, maybe a person of color. I don't mind somebody who is white, but they got to be our age. So that goes back to that. So they know that he is missing 20 years of time. So not somebody who is in their 20s or 30s who have no idea, and then they'll be like, he tried. No, he didn't. He did not. Um, so I'm looking for a very kind of look. And I didn't put that in my want, but that's what I'm looking for. So somebody who has had some life experience, okay? And somebody who may have had some experience in healthcare or uh, behavioral health or something of that along those lines. That's what I'm looking for. So I think I may, like I said, reach out to those two candidates, but finding a care team that understands that he might behave in a certain way that's just like, what is he doing? Like, I'm, and I've made a video about this before. It's like, I don't embarrass very easily. So sometimes he might wear something or do something that might be like, what is he doing? Me personally, I don't get embarrassed very easily. So I have to have somebody who is also on that vibe where if something happens, if he says something, he might even think he's saying something. It's almost like he'll misunderstand, or no, he knows he can hear us, but sometimes his speech is not always clear, you know? So that's kind of where I'm going with, like, because mentally he can still be a little scrambled. So yeah, so that's what I'm looking for right now. And I know I'll find the person for the afternoon. The morning, like I said, I need to start putting together the notes and the books and all the things, because this will be the first time I'm away from him in about 6 months, 7 months. Like, I've seen him almost every day. No, not almost every day for 6 months. And he needs that for his healing. And the new medicine since April has been doing pretty well. I think now, even with my supplements again, I'm getting him back on taurine this week. And, just making sure he gets enough nutrients to help build back his brain so he can work on building up the cognitive ability to function better, you know. So that's kind of where I am right now with him. And like, except for that's the tricky thing with caffeine. So I'm going to leave you with that. Caffeine is a nootropic, and that means it's a brain enhancing thing, but too much can be problematic. So I kind of suspected something yesterday afternoon because he came in like a little hummingbird. He was like, "Doot, doot, 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 doot," looking at everything like, "Ooh, what?" I was like, "Wait, is he okay?" He had iced coffee yesterday. And I wish they would just give him decaf. Maybe I should go down there and say, like, look, if my brother asks for iced coffee, can y'all get him just decaf? Decaf, please. Please. Because I don't know if they can do that. Maybe I'll ask. But he yeah, he was definitely a little bit more alert, but probably too much because, like I said, I don't think he slept at all last night. But all right, let me get to my renovations and cleaning out of things and purging. I might pop on. I don't know if I'll come on again today, but as a teacher, this is my time where I purge a lot, throw things away, try to get organized and stuff for the next school year. That includes my household because, sometimes things build up. Okay. All right. And then summer job, my usual summer gig is not around anymore. And I may have to start looking for some kind of nighttime online summer gig work. There's that. All right. To afford some care team. Because, yeah, it's either break my, like, yeah. Uh, anyway, yeah. I'm tired too. All right. With that, I say take care. All right. Be good to yourself and to everybody else. All right. Bye. Bye.